everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I want to show you how we did these die cut paper bags. We had a large order for these bags and then they are die cutted, so it took us a pretty good time to do it. While I was doing it, I actually had probably finished most of them and I thought, oh, why not show a video showing how we did it. So the first thing we did, or let's say one of the first steps we did, was cutting it with the cutting machine. I used a silhouette Cameo, so I cut it with the cutting machine. Okay, so yeah, I'm trying to place it on the mat because I didn't design this in the Silhouette studio. I designed this with Corel Draw, so I didn't use the print and cut function. A long story. So I had to find a way to place it on the mat to gauge it, to make sure it cuts where I need it to cut. So that's why I was trying to place it on the mat earlier. So then I was able to cut it. So cutting it, I had to cut all of them individually because of course I just have one cutting machine. I know there's some people that have a couple of machines and then they're able to coordinate it and cut them all at once, but for now I still have one machine, so I had to cut them individually. So it took a bit of a while. It took a couple of hours to cut them. So after cutting, I removed it from the machine and then I removed the card, the SS card. So along the line, if you see me doing this, I was doing it a bit slowly because I was a bit scared. There were some I had done earlier that I rushed it and then it ended up cutting at the back. It ended up messing up the back, and I needed the back to also be good because I was going to show inside the bag. So yeah, it actually took a long time. I took my time to remove this. I took quite a while, so I tried to move it gently as possible. So you can imagine doing this for about 50 bags. So I did this one after the other. So it actually took a long time, but I did it. So yeah, I'm just trying to make sure I remove it neatly. So I used the scissors at the point when I saw it was trying to tear the back too. All I did was just remove it until I was able to remove the shape out completely. So after removing, I actually had to do this, the front and the back. This bag actually, the front and the back has that die cut shape. The shape followed this picture, the picture of the boy's head to his ear, to his clothes, to his hand, and then the one on top. So I did this for the front and then for the back. So the front and the back has this die cut shape. So there is the after cutting. This is the front, then that's the back with the die cut shape. The back doesn't have any picture or any print. It's just plain white. So the back and the sides are plain white actually. So the box, this bag only has a print on the front. So those are the sides right there. So yeah, you need your scissors, your cutter, your glue, and then the paper bag rope. Okay, so let's get to it. So the sides, we had to, sometimes when you're doing paper bags, probably have to just gum it twice, but in this one we gummed it 4 times. We gummed each part, the front to the side, to the 2 sides, and then to the back. So yeah, I'm just making sure I'm bending all the lines. I'd already scored this with my scoring board, so the dimensions were already there. This bag is 11 by 11 by 5 inches. So yes, I'd already measured it, so just for me to cut and then gum. So I actually forgot to cut the side first of all. So I'm just cutting the bottom side, so it makes it easier for us to gum. We don't need to cut it later. So I'm just pre-cutting this right now. Those are the sides of the bag, so we don't need that bottom. I'm just cutting it off. Okay, so after cutting, I'm just going to gum the 4 sides of the box. So the side to the front and then the sides to the back. So that's what it's about. Okay, so this is just a bit very similar to making a regular paper bag. The only difference is because the front and the back is cut or is die cutted. So you gum it in a very different way from paper bag. So the side, you have 4 sides. Most times when you're doing paper bags, probably have one piece of card, or at most maybe 2 pieces of cards where you gum together. But in this case, the 4 sides are separate, so you are gumming 4 pieces of cards together. So you could use any gum really. I use this UH because I was very particular about it drying clear. I was doing a white bag, and then this is actually my first time doing this exact type of paper bag, so I wanted to be extra careful. I didn't want to use what I usually use, top bond compact adhesive, which is yellow in color, but I was worried about it staining the white. so I decided to use a glue that will dry clear, even so in case if there was even any defects it wouldn't show, or I'll easily be able to clean them. So that's why I use this. So basically any gum that you know that will work well, that will glue this will work. It's not particular about using UHU, but you might probably easily get UHU. That will work too. So I gummed the first side of the bag. Now I'm gumming the second side of the bag. The second side of the bag. So I did this bag later, way later after I did my other bag. So I'm really taking my time. I wasn't fast. I was just going as slow as possible. So even after gumming the sides, I just make sure I go into the front and then make sure it's smooth. It's very smooth. Okay, so now it's time to join the back of the bag. Don't forget I said the back is also die cutted. So the front and the back is die cutted, but no print at the back. Okay, so I'm trying to just put glue to gum the back too. So it takes a little bit of time because the bag is in 4 pieces, as I said earlier. So you have to gum 4 sides. You have to gum it 4 times. So it takes a little bit of time. So I'm gumming the third part, which is the back now. So after gumming, what I just need to do is, after gumming the sides, I'll just gum the bottom and then add the rope to the bag. So I guess you could also use a ribbon instead of using a rope. But the sample that was sent to me, or the picture sample that was sent to me, was a rope. So I just followed what the customers wanted, which was a rope. So anything that would really work, a ribbon probably make it even finer. Okay, so I'm gumming the last side right now. So you just have to make sure that gums smoothly and neatly. So last side has been gummed. Now it's time to gum the bottom. But before you gum the bottom, the sides have to be trimmed. So okay, that's the hole for the paper bag. I actually forgot to put the hole at the back of this. When I was doing these bags, I cut the hole with a punch together. The front and the back, I punched it at once just to make sure that they were at the exact same place. But I don't know how I forgot to punch the back of this. So now I have to gum the bottom, but I need to cut off that edge at the side, because the bag actually just has a sharp edge even at to the bottom. So I'm cutting that off. Yeah, I was supposed to use a cutter for this, but my cutting mat wasn't close by and I didn't want to spoil my table, so I just ended up using a scissors. So if you see in the beginning, I mentioned that I showed a cutter that I was supposed to use it, but I ended up not using it. So this is where I wanted to use the cutter, so I ended up using a scissors instead for this part, just trimming off that extra edge. We don't need that. Okay, so time to gum the bottom. Okay, first, so this was the punch I used to cut the hole. So just a regular hole punch. Okay, now to gum the bottom. Okay, so to gum the bottom, we'll take the back of the box in first, then the sides will cover it, then the sides will cover it, then the front will cover it, so that it ends in front. So it ends at the back, sorry. So the back first, the sides, then the front. So if you see the sides, the cards are coming from the sides are coming out a bit there, and we don't want that. So I'm just going to trim them off a bit at the edges. I'm using the scissors for that also, just so it doesn't come out after you finish gumming your bag. Okay, so yeah, so we did this way so that inside the bag it doesn't show any gumming. So we put the card coming from the back comes down first before the sides. If we were to gum the sides inside first, once you open the bag from inside, you will see the side, which is not neat. So this way the back comes first, the insides go next, meaning that the card that comes from the back covers the insides, and then you just use the one from the front to close it up, and that ends at the back. So it's neat. So when you're looking at the back from the front, you don't see any edges, just smooth edges all through. So when gumming it, I was particular about the edges. you see, I try to put the glue as close as possible to the very edges so that it doesn't lift up at the edges. So the middle part, I just spread it as much as possible, but the edges were my concern. So I'm done with the gum actually. Because I was placing that, I thought I was going to come out at the edge a bit. I tried to make the adjustments, lift it up and do it again, but I think it still came out. So I eventually traced it with the scissors. Also, I'm just trying to be as neat as possible, smoothing it up. Okay, so I used the scissors to cut out that extra. So yeah, your bag is about 90% done, if not 95% done. So all it needs now are the ropes to add to it. Yeah, we just need to add the ropes. So okay, so because the bag was blue and we had blue on it already, so we just used a blue rope to cut it. So just cut 2 pieces of that and then fix into your bag. Oh, I didn't measure it. So you could measure it. About 10 inches will work, or 10 inches or more will work, depending on how long you want the rope to be or how short. So I did this. I didn't measure this since it was just one I wanted to do. Remember I said I already finished the bags before I did this video. So this was just a last sample. Okay, so I think that did not tie well, so I just tied it again. So all you have to do is okay, so this rope, it has a lot of it pulls, so you see it's even pulling into the bag. So you might want to use a lighter or fire, any sort of flame, to just burn the tip so it is so it doesn't remove, so it doesn't have this pulling thing that is having into the bag. So that's what I did for all the bags anyway. So now that is done, your paper bag is ready. So that is how to do a die cut paper bag. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Please don't forget to subscribe.